You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I am Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, Coach Easton Crime.
Hi, Rodney.
Mike, the man himself. Mike Cole, how are you, brother?
I'm good.
Woo! I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to get out on the way. I'm a little nasally right now. These allergies have got me slam jammed and super just like clammed up. So if I get nasally on you tonight, you pretty much know why. So I'm gonna that's my disclaimer for tonight.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Welcome to mine and Mike's 1 hour vacation that we get to have every single week. We look forward to it every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're listening to us on iTunes, you can catch us out. You can catch us there. You can also see us on free to subscribe to either one of them. Actually, both of them would be awesome. That's our payment. How's that sound, Mike? You usually do that part.
No, that's good. Yeah, if you see or hear something you like. That is definitely a monetizing way of doing it for us.
Absolutely. You can reach us in a couple different ways tonight. You can hashtag us on Twitter. Shoot us a question there. Hashtag RROR. Mike will get that right over there. He's looking at it. You can call us directly, live, from anywhere in the world at 262-345-7763. You can also text us.
It's pretty amazing.
How did we go from
it's
here
pretty
to
amazing.
there? Excuse me, you can text us at the same number, 262-345-7763. I will get that text directly. Will you get it too? Maybe? I don't know.
I do get it.
Okay, so we both get it. So either way, we're both going to get that one. And definitely shoot us whatever questions you have where we talk about fish and hunt and you name it. If it's an outdoor sport, we're going to try to get involved. We're going to try to do it, see it, feel it, and we're going to try to keep you up to date. Our motto since this thing has been started, keep me legal, keep me safe, make me king for a day. And that's the clip you saw at the very beginning, the King for a Day series.
Yeah. I want to throw this out there because we are, we're still getting settled. Did you watch last week's episode of the Rodney Rogers Outdoors?
I did.
It was interesting.
Mike, it was awesome.
It was fun. I laughed a little.
I did too.
We stepped out of our boundaries here, and hopefully that's just the first of many, and we'll go further and further.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
If you didn't see last week's episode, we actually cooked in the kitchen. We cooked some crawfish. We talked about where we ordered them and all that good stuff. So it was definitely worth watching. I was excited to get home and see it and see how it turned out. And it was fun. You pulled it off. I got to tell you, man. When I walked in, it looked like a legit studio. We had lighting. We had all the things needed to make this thing happen. And I got to give you kudos, man.
You better all the time. Yeah. Better all the time.
Wow, it was awesome.
Well, man, there's just so much.
Oh my God!
As always,
1 hour is just not going to be enough anymore, Mike.
So let me back. Can we talk technical for a second?
Let's do it. By all means.
Every week, this is my segment called "I really don't want to talk technical."
Right.
But let's talk technical.
But let's talk tech.
So we had one of the apps we use is Switcher Studio Pro.
Right.
Or that's our main switcher app. All of our this whole studio is basically based on iOS or Apple devices. We switch from an Apple iPad. All of the cameras are iPhones.
Yep.
Talking to each other and switching. I mean, we have a computer interfacing in a couple computers and stuff. But the brains of it is Switcher Studio Pro.
Right.
And the CEO co-founder is a guy named Nick Mattingly.
Yes.
Who we both follow because you use this same setup on your Thursday night show. And
not quite as advanced as you, but I mean it's the
same app.
Serves the purpose.
Same thing. But I've hit him up a couple times. I was in Louisville, and I hit him up one time to have lunch with them, and he was in the West Coast. And you've hit him up on your show, on his show. But I wanted to show you something, Rodney, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
Give me a second, so you can vamp for a second, because I'm taking this out of sequence here.
Okay. Yeah, we're right on. Yeah, because he what's cool about the Switcher is he'll do a live Switcher app kind of update where we're at, where we're going. And I love watching that, man. And I love hearing it, seeing it. And it's something to get exciting about. This app is when I'm watching it, and it's got 50, 60 viewers or 110 viewers sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it don't have 30,000 viewers, because if you don't know about this app and you're even thinking about doing anything of what we're doing right now, man, this is beginner level. This is advanced. How do I say that? This is advanced equipment on beginner level knowledge. It really is. It is. And to show you that on my Thursday night shows, I use like the bare minimum of equipment, and we pull that up. And then on Tuesday nights, we really jam it out. We show you what Switcher app is all about. We really do.
I may have bit off more than. Keep going. You're doing great,
Okay.
Rodney. You're doing great.
I see you looking at 9 screens, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I've kind of fandangled myself here, but
So, and Mike has really pulled it out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 video screens. We got 3 or 4 iPads. We got a Big Mac computer. We got the
I like that Big Mac.
Big Mac. Ooh.
Now I'm just
We got
plain
the-
hungry, Rodney.
Good Lord, Big Mac. And I don't even bring my electronics, because I'm afraid if I plug it in, this whole show will just explode. We will have busted at the seams. You know what I mean? So,
On the screen now,
okay.
which people are seeing, and what I told you earlier is now void, but there is another website, Livestream Stars. The
Okay.
guy does his own podcast and live stream.
Right.
And obviously talks about people who are live streaming. But I'm going to pull this full screen so that people can see this. I was watching this today. This was a live video as of
Hey
today.
guys,
Yes, I
Ross
saw
Brand
him,
here
yeah.
for LivestreamUniverse.com. Welcome to Livestream Stars. It's Monday night, 7 p.m.
Bear with
Eastern.
me, Rodney, because I'm
I
going to
got you.
advance to
Are
about
gonna-
9 minutes here.
Okay.
At the end of last year,
That's the guy I spoke
it's
to.
super easy. But
Nick
what you see
Madeline,
is what
yep.
you get.
Or use big production equipment or anything like that.
Looks great. He's built an awesome community, and it's super, super cool. There's another guy, it's Rodney Rogers, and he started out with a podcast, and now he's doing videos on YouTube, and it looks like a reality TV show. And they're going out in the Everglades and like shooting video in the forest and in the swamps, and he's going back to the studio and set up the mic just like you are, and is able to cut to that content and talk
Right.
about it in his program. Another awesome example.
Wow,
How
Mike.
cool is
There's
that?
a guy
Wow,
that
Mike.
had a
Mike, holy moly.
Yeah.
That
How cool is that?
That is friggin' awesome.
So that's tech stuff and means nothing to anybody probably watching.
but it's a big deal.
But yeah, but for your
In the tech
engineer and your
world, that's a
producer,
big
yeah.
deal.
So he gave you you yeah. So I saw that tonight. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because you shouted out on his live
Yes.
stream last week, and he just said, "Hey, Rodney, thanks.
Hey,
Post us a link."
yeah, post
But
a
obviously,
link.
he's
Well,
checked it out and
Yep.
been on there, because
Yeah. So
it was one of the 3 examples he said of people using Switcher Studio. for
congratulations, Mike. That's a
cool-
big deal, man.
It is a big deal, and I'm
Yeah, for those of you who don't know the tech side of this, it's absolutely, it's another notch in. I mean, because like he said right there, we're in the Everglades. We're pulling that video footage. That dude, I've gotten some people are saying that is Discovery Channel video right there, and it is. I mean, you and I did some real, bro. I loved filming when we were down there filming. That was some of the funnest stuff we've done.
It is fun, and this Tuesday night vacation, as you call it, is turning out to be exactly what we wanted it to
Yeah.
be.
Yep.
You know, kind of a blend of taking a breather, and in between your crazy weekends, and
Right.
kind of some of the behind the scenes story, be able to train, do some training and some educating while things aren't
Absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that was cool, and I had to share that on the air tonight. That's
That is,
pretty cool.
you know what? Because I must have caught that literally not long after that. I wish I would have started. I started about 15 minutes in watching that.
I mean, yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like an hour long. Or
Right, it's an
something
hour
like that,
long.
so-
Yeah, and I watched about 30 minutes of it. And I wish I'd have caught a little earlier, man.
Yeah.
I would have hit it
Isn't
at
that
you
cool?
first. Yeah, that
I
was,
just kind of freaked out with my own brain. There,
absolutely.
So anyways,
So anyway,
you've been out and about. I saw one thing on Facebook.
Okay.
Again,
what do you see?
we haven't seen much of each other.
No, we haven't.
So this is literally our catch-up time as well as our vacation here.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you about something I saw on Facebook,
Okay.
Rodney. You said something about
yes.
new jewelry for the boat.
Yes, I did. So, I have the trolling motor, and the trolling motor works great for small ponds. I can get around those small ponds. I could troll all day on one charge. I mean, that trolling motor I got, as far as charge-wise, I can hold it. I can do everything I need to do. Now, I want to fish the flats. And the key is to not buy a $60,000 flats boat to fish the flats.
Right.
I want to show the people that you can fish the flats, you can do these things, in a small John boat. Now, so I wanted a motor. So I kind of searched around and saw motors for $700-800, 5-6 horsepowers. My boat's rated for 7-8 horsepower. So I didn't want nothing that big, because I still got to carry it. It still goes in the back of my truck.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
good point.
I wanted a motor that can get me. I'm not in a hurry. If I wanted to get in a hurry, I'd have got a bigger boat with a bigger motor and defeated my whole purpose.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I have a 12-foot. It's called a 1242. So it's 42 inches wide. No, I'm sorry, 1236. So it's 36 inches wide, 12 feet long, a John boat that I can handle myself.
Your John boat's more than 36 inches wide.
No, it's 30. It's a 1236. You know what? You're right. It's a 1232. I'm sorry, 42.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
There's
yeah.
a 1248, a 42, and a 36.
Okay.
So, I went out and went to look at the motors, and I saw this guy. And I went, you know what? It's priced right. And believe it or not, they had two there. They had a leftover 2016 and a brand new 2017. And guess what? The 2017 was $100 cheaper than the leftover 2016
Really?
on sale. And the guy goes, I can't believe it. And I said, sold.
Yeah.
Actually,
Say no more.
It was $340 cheaper.
Mine.
Yeah, so I said, sold. Let me get it.
Wow.
So it has a 1 liter tank on the top. And I'm going to tell you what, that 1 liter tank will get you. I had literally almost nothing in it and ran off of that for the longest time and didn't know I was running off of that.
Because it's misleading here because it's not on the boat. Hold your hands up. How big is
It's yay big.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 46
so it's
pounds.
Perfect for
Yeah, absolutely.
40, okay, I was going to ask how much it weighed.
It weighs as much as my battery.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I bought it has a fuel tank on it, and it has an added accessory there. If you look at the bottom, you see the red button. To the right of that, you can hook a fuel tank up to it. So I went ahead and bought all the goodies for a fuel tank. The goodies are about $100. You buy the hose, the fittings,
Sure.
and a little 3.5 gallon tank. I went about 12 miles on a half gallon. You know what I mean?
Cool.
The tank still reads
Yeah.
full. And the half gallon I used was in the little tank on the top. So I never really got to the actual tank itself. I used everything in that little thing there. So being saltwater, of course, I washed it up when I was all done. Excuse me. The motor ran great. We did about 10 or 12 miles an hour on a good time. So I got to distribute the weight a little better because I kind of had it all in the back.
Sure.
Once you put your 3 gallons of gas, 8 pounds a gallon. Hers about 7.2 pounds a gallon. Then you put your motor. Then
It
you put
adds
a
up real
200-pound
quick,
guy.
yeah.
Then you put
Yeah.
your battery and your trolling motor. So you got 500 pounds hanging on the back of that boat.
Sure.
So I've got to run some lines so I can get my battery to the front. And my fuel tank, I want to get just a little bit farther forward. And, and then
It's a
that
weight
kind of
and
stuff.
balance thing.
So it's just a weight and balance thing. I absolutely loved it. We ran some shallow
Really?
water. Oh, yeah. Yeah, super shallow water. Once the motor couldn't run anymore, I lifted it up, and I used the trolling motor to finish it all. And then I poled the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So we definitely got on the fish. We got out there. For me, Sunday when we went out to Mosquito Lagoon was more of a let's get this boat figured out. Not so much focus on catching fish, which we did catch fish, but it wasn't my main goal. It was like an added plus.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I say we. I mean, at least caught all the fish.
It's a.
But I didn't catch any fish.
When you said what?
Yeah. I said put the life preserver on. You got to swim back. That's it. I'm done. No more. You can't do this anymore.
You know how this game's played.
You
do
don't really
Yeah.
understand. This is Rodney
Let's
Rogers
go over the
Outdoors.
rules one more time.
So yeah. So I mean, anytime I can take someone out and they can catch fish, it's to me, man, it's
cool.
what it's all about. And Mosquito Lagoon, just so if you're ever thought about it, it's the water is getting so clear. Sight fishing is back in, man. I mean, you can get back out there and sight fish. It was a little windy for us, so it really wasn't a sight fish time. So I could see on these calm days, I'm going to be out there early mornings now that I got the boat figured out, and I'm going to be on those flats. So I'm going to throw out there what I'm going to do is once a month I'm going to post, hey, someone come fishing, and I want someone to put in there, hey, I'm going to fill the spots and I'll draw.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm going to do first come, first serve or draw or something, but I want to take someone fishing once a month out to Mosquito Lagoon.
Cool.
So you get to redfish. Just, it's not I'm paying for everything. You're just going to ride with me. We're going to go out there, fish, and come back.
You're doing it anyways.
I'm doing it. So, exactly. I'm doing it anyway, so we might as well throw somebody in a boat and go with us. So that was Sunday or Saturday. Heck, I don't know. Winds, man, the winds are just still here because our trip got canceled. We were supposed to go offshore Saturday. It got canceled because of winds. So here we are. You know, I had to think of something to do. So that's what I said. Let's just get this boat figured out. You know, let's nail down how this thing's going to work. So works great. I love it. You know, this will be something that I'm going to just have, you know, keep forever.
Yeah.
I probably see me getting a trailer because I can always pull it off the trailer or put in my truck if I'm going to a pond. But, you know, having to pick the motor up and the battery up.
It's always ready to go on a trailer.
Yeah, on the trailer, it's just ready to go. And if I'm going to the lagoon, I can drag it over, dump it in, and poof, I'm good to go. So,
okay.
Sorry about that. So, that's that. That was Sunday. Saturday. So Mosquito Lagoon is beautiful. Make sure you get out there and check it out if you haven't in a while. It's just so gorgeous.
That is a great update.
Yeah, so
it's a good report.
The only thing you got to watch out for is some of the guides are not nice. You know, just they think they own the water. Some of them are just real, you know, just real pains.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, they think because they have paying customers that they own the Mosquito Lagoon. So there's nobody around us. I'm fishing. You know, we could see the reds moving in, and we're fishing from where we were toward the shore, and they're very skittish. Well, this guy he's got people on the boat. He comes right up to us, you know, spooks the fish with his trolling motor, puts two guys out on the front to try to, you know, catch, you know, do their, and then trolls right through it, you know. So I'm like, well, I returned the favor. I cranked my motor up and just ran down way past him. You know, he gave me the
river rage.
River rage.
Yeah.
I really wanted to pull up to his boat and
it's becoming a huge
put
problem.
my foot in his butt, but I'll go a different route. So, try to be considerate. My goal is to be considerate when I see people fishing. I'll shut my motor down and troll, even if I'm a half a mile away. Because I know, and especially if I'm going between two boats, I'll just troll right through them, you know, so they don't hear my motor running. Or, if you know, in that case, if the riverbank is here, I'm out here fishing toward the river. As he saw me, going around would have been a great option. Nope, he went right in between me and where I was fishing. So he was, Mr. Guide, if that was you and you're watching this show, please unfollow me. Don't ever talk to me again. I don't want to see your face.
Booyah.
Booyah. So anyway, woo! Got that off my chest.
I'm glad you had this cleansing moment.
So, that was it. That was, you know, not a whole lot going on this weekend. So how about you, Mike?
I don't know.
Exciting?
There's a lot of seasons are coming about.
It's 21 after right now.
Okay, let's get in. We got some current news.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about that.
Two things I wanted to bring up, Rodney, although it's probably going to take a little longer than that.
Well,
and you'll soon see why.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The first one says 4 Florida counties open April 1st to gag grouper recreational harvest.
Yes.
FWC is gathering input on changes to the season. State waters off the coast, yes.
So the first sentence is what? FWC is gathering input on the changes of the seasoning, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so just remember that statement and let's go on from here.
State waters off the coast of Franklin, Wakulla, Jefferson, and Taylor counties will be open to recreational harvest of gag groupers starting April 1st, which was 2-3 days ago.
Right.
It will remain open until June 31st. The season also includes all waters of
Apalachicola.
Thank you, Bay, and Indian Pass, including those in Gulf County, and all waters in the Steinhatchee River, including those in Dixie County. If I was a auctioneer,
you'd have got it all in the first shot.
Yes.
Hey, I'll go to the city water, Dixie County.
Yes.
What do I hear? Apalachicola.
Exactly.
Sold. Apalachicola.
Exactly right. Let me cut down with a few more facts.
Yes.
But here's what I was hoping, Rodney, that when I read through this, that you could break it down, because this is a perfect example of how rules are changing. A season's closing. It's this exception, but this unless you live here, and if you stand on one foot. And
we're kind of going to break it down for layman's
break it down.
term.
Yeah.
Okay.
The gag grouper season in the remainder of Gulf of Mexico state waters is open June 1st through December 31st. State waters off Franklin, Wakulla, Jefferson, and Taylor counties.
Right.
Gag groupers caught in state Gulf waters, which is short of 9 miles out.
Yep.
April 1st to June 30th off the 4-county open region can be landed on the Gulf County side of Indian Pass and the Dixie County side of the Steinhatchee River, but may not be taken ashore in any other areas if those areas are closed to harvest. For example, a gag grouper caught April 1st in the state waters of Jefferson County cannot be taken ashore in Levi County or parts of Dixie County outside of the Steinhatchee River. Now you guys go catch some fish and have fun. Right? Right?
Here's a hook and pole. Good luck,
Go
Chuck.
get them.
Okay.
And if that's not enough, just to recap, the
Yeah.
minimum size limit's 24 inches in
24
length.
inches, right?
The bag limit is 2 gag grouper per person.
Right.
No more than 4 grouper per person per day. Within this 4-fish limit, anglers may only keep 2 gag groupers.
Okay. So, are you ready? Let's break it down to the first statement that you said. The first statement that I stopped you on and said that the FWC is doing basically what they're trying to do. This is a test season for these counties. And the reason it's a test season for these counties because in those counties, they're closed year-round. The rest of the Gulf opens up on June 1st, with the exception of Jefferson, Taylor, those counties. What was it? What did you say? Jefferson. Here I got Franklin, Wakulla, Taylor, and Jefferson. Besides those counties, so let's just put it in a whole. If you look down the Gulf side, the whole Gulf opens on June 1st for grouper. Okay, with the exception of those 4 counties. Now here's what they're doing. They want to know from anglers where are they catching fish. So what they did is they said, let's open it up before the rest of the Gulf. Let's open it up specifically to those counties and see what they're catching. So they're going to be at every boat ramp. They're going to be surveying. And this is key.
Okay.
This is the key point. Give them the information. The problem with fishermen is like, nope, didn't catch anything. None of your business. You know what? You're hurting yourself. You're going to keep those counties closed is what you're going to do. They want to see fish. They want to know that we're catching fish. That's the whole point of it. So from April 1st through June 31st, they're going to have a season. Enjoy that season in those counties. Now, if you catch a grouper in those counties, you can't go to another county and pull out a different boat ramp. You have to put in one of those counties, and you got to take out in one of those counties. That's the only stipulation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So if you put in Taylor County, you got to pull out at Taylor County. You can't pull out at Dixie County or any other county for that matter. Now, these counties are in the very north end. They're up there by Panama City, very north end, Apalachicola there, up in that curve. There you go, right there in yellow. They're right up in that curve. Those are the counties. So what they're trying to do is this is the way to isolate those counties that they've had closed for so long in the state waters. Because you can drive out of those counties and hit federal waters and catch those grouper all day long, which they're in season. You're allowed to do that, in federal waters.
Yeah.
But let's just focus on the state waters for now. So if you're going to fish those counties from April 1st. Now, mind you, the rest of the state is still closed until June 1st. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So once they overlap, then, of course, you could take your grouper out anywhere you want. So from April 1st to June, you have to take them out of those counties. You can't take grouper out anywhere else because it's closed. You don't want to take a grouper out on a county that's closed to grouper fish.
Okay.
They don't know where you caught it.
Right.
They have to assume you went out this county, you caught it in this county, and you're illegal. So make sure you're in the county that you're fishing. So if you're going to fish for that, you're going to drive up there, or even if you're up there, really pay attention to that rule.
Okay.
Did that kind of help?
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that breaks it down.
Yeah, when they say Steinhatchee is just south of there, and it's Dixie County it's part of Steinhatchee. It's Dixie County but Steinhatchee right there, Steinhatchee River. So they're just giving you They're just giving you a line. It's like a highway. Unfortunately, in nature's world, there's no particular highways. They have to give you a landmark. Steinhatchee River is a landmark, south of that or north of that. You know what I mean?
And especially if you're comfortable in those areas,
then you know
It'll make
exactly.
sense to
It'll
you,
make
yeah.
sense to you.
Okay.
So don't be confused that the rest of the state will open up in state water from June 1st, okay, through December. So did that kind of simplify it a little
It
bit?
did, actually.
Uh,
I mean, you turned 12 pages of text into
pretty much a minute and a half.
Yeah.
So when you read it, it sounds confusing, but when you put it in perspective like you've done here and you just highlight those counties, it's like Dad used to say, son, you know how to eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Just so first we got to isolate where are those counties. Poof, there they are. I'm not fishing up there anyway, or I am fishing up there. So then if you are the one fishing up there, then the rest of the rules apply.
Sure.
If you're not, then they don't apply. So discard everything you just read,
gotcha.
or absorb it, and then let's follow step 2.
So the cliff notes are get a guide.
Right.
Get a guide.
I resort everything to macaroni and cheese. Got to have milk. There's our milk. Are we making macaroni and cheese? Nope. Then forget it. I just confused you even more.
No, that's very accurate.
So
Everything relates to macaroni and cheese.
So, oh man, this is what I want to talk about right
Sturgeon returning to the Swanee River, Rodney.
here. April is sturgeon season.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Researchers reported that fish began returning to North Florida River in January because of the warm water. With low water levels this spring, sturgeon may jump more frequently than in previous years. As river levels drop, the jumping frequency increases. Best course of action? Go slow, wear your life jacket, keep people off the bow. Now, first of all, why is this even important? Why do we care about this?
Those scoots that you see on that sturgeon with all the little points, if you're you can run 50 mile an hour down that Swanee River there. And if one of those 200-pound sturgeon jump up and you're running 50 miles an hour, imagine getting hit by a truck tire.
Yeah.
At 50 miles an hour.
There have actually been deaths.
Deaths, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just 2 or 3 years ago, a 9-year-old, I think it was killed. It was big news from a sturgeon. I held one. It's man, those things are sharp, and it's a bad deal.
Yeah, it says going slow is recommended to reduce the risk of impact and have more reaction time if a jumping sturgeon is encountered.
Now, this is a little different than the San Francisco sturgeon I was fishing for. They get just as big.
Okay.
These are called Gulf sturgeon, where
Okay.
the ones in San Francisco are called white and green sturgeons. We have, several different species here, but this particular one is a Gulf sturgeon, there's a name for it. Anadocious, which means it migrates from freshwater to saltwater.
Oh, really?
And it's the only one of the 4 species that does. I sound like a biologist, Mike. I don't.
You almost have to be. I think you are partially.
I feel like I should. The only reason I didn't become a biologist because I'm the guy that they would give. I need you a 7-year study of snail reproduction. You know what I mean?
Rodney.
I'd be that guy. So, but So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's good. I mean, but yeah, this is what it's all about. Adult fish may spend up to 9 months each year in the river, spawning in May, then return to the Gulf during the coolest month to feed. State and federal laws protect sturgeon, just like the bald eagles, the panthers, and the sea turtles.
Yes.
And Gulf sturgeon cannot be harvested.
Period.
Yeah. To report sturgeon collisions, call 888 ouch that hurt. I may have that wrong, but
1-800 I think he's dead.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you catch them, you have to release them immediately, that kind of thing.
So it is a safety issue.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, they're not in those rivers to feed. They're hard to catch because they don't do a lot of feeding. They'll eat small crabs. They'll eat, worms and amphipods, or whatever they're called. So, you can catch them. And I'm hoping to catch one. I'm about to get on my next challenge, and it's going to be in the Swanee River, and I may get lucky and catch one.
Got some video of the from the Florida Fish and Wildlife of sturgeon jumping.
There it is.
So you get an idea of the size of these bad boys.
Yeah, look at that.
Boaters in the past have been seriously injured when colliding with these fish. The sturgeon aren't attacking or targeting boaters. They're simply doing what they've been doing for thousands of years. Please enjoy the scenic Swanee River and have fun, but we also urge you to go slow.
Right by
Wear
him.
your life jacket while...
Isn't that crazy?
Right by him. That is awesome. So, So if I'm up there, or when I'm up there on the 22nd, 23rd, I believe it is, we're going to go up and do some fishing for some Swanee bass. We may get lucky and do some filming of that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, that'd be phase 2. Now, remember, Swanee bass are only in the Swanee River. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Totally excited.
Swanee bass are in... Okay, good. Yes, Swanee bass in Swanee River. Good.
That was funny, actually.
That was funny.
No duh, man.
No, ba-duh.
What's next, Mike?
I don't know.
You've got mail.
Uh-oh.
We get letters. We get
Stop, whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here. Yeah, I'm a top flight. Hold you tight. Get you there by daylight. Do you right overnight mail.
That's what I'm talking.
You've got that last chord.
Oh, that
perfect.
I'm nailing the chord.
You have got it down.
You know what? I'm going to have to learn that chord one day. And when we go do a live event, I'm just going to play that live. Ring.
Rodney, we've got some really
Let's
good
do it.
questions, so let's get to
Let's
it. Are
do
you
it.
Ready? Boil tea. This came in through the website. Somebody clicked on the info button there and asked a question. Great show on cooking crawdads. Rodney,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. What is the best way to know if you've got a bad one before and after cooking?
Oh, well, the key is that when you have your crawdads, go through what you're cooking, and if it's dead, toss it. No, don't even fool with it. If it's a dead crawfish, dead crawdad, just toss it. No sense in trying to cook it and see if it's any good. I've had bad crawfish. I've sucked the heads of them. It's very disgusting, but you don't get. I've never gotten sick from it. I just took a swig of beer. And
Turn you off real quick, I would suppose.
It'll put a hitch in you, get along pretty quick. But yeah, the best way to do that is just sort out the dead ones in the beginning, and then go from there. Once the dead ones are out, you're not getting a bad crawdad. The rest of them are good to go.
Okay, is that true?
Yeah, absolutely true.
Because as we were eating them the other night, I had those kind of questions of looking at them, going, "You sure?" I mean,
yeah. No, because there was no dead ones in that one. I made sure
I will say this though, Rodney.
What's that?
They were good.
Yes, they were. I ate another bag.
That was my first time. I mean, it was cool to do it live on the air like that, but that literally is my first time ever eating crawdads.
Oh, right on,
crawfish,
man.
and really good.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, you need to hit the hot and juicy with me. We totally need to. Yeah,
I'm surprised we haven't done it by now.
Well,
okay, good question there. Thank you, Boyle T. This one's from Johnny. Johnny L. Gotha, Florida says, taking my 22-foot Pathfinder to Boca Grande this weekend. Is chumming recommended?
Honestly, I would always chum. I mean, if you're going to plan on it and you got a chum bag or chum blocks.
Now,
you want to explain what chumming is?
Yeah, because I've chummed before, and it was because I ate the wrong thing.
Right. A lot of people have. I've had a few chummers on the boat. So basically, chumming is like a frozen fish block. A lot of people grind up fish. If they bring it back, their old bait fish, they'll put it in a grinder, and they'll freeze it in a block, a jug, and they'll cut it off the jug and put it in like a net bag and just dip it in the water while they're fishing. That brings in, a lot of the small baits, if you drop that chum block to the bottom, it'll bring in the little fish bring in grouper, and you're catching fish off of that.
Okay.
If you're bottom fishing, that's great. If you're trolling or something otherwise, it's no sense in having a chum block. Unless you're fishing for sharks.
Okay.
Chum block is always good to keep with you. Why not?
Okay.
It doesn't hurt. I would always recommend
So typically always frozen then, I guess.
Absolutely.
That's
Just
part
freeze
of
it
the
up.
deal.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great.
Matthew K. from Orlando, Florida says, what am I most likely to catch if I fish in 5-foot grass?
That's Matthew. That's great. Bass. You're most likely to catch bass and pickerel. And if you're fishing in Florida, it's pickerel. If you're fishing up north, you'll catch bass and pike. And muskies. Those things they'll hide in that grass all day long.
Wow.
Absolutely. So yeah, fish it, man. Drop it down. Drop heavy jigs down, 3/4 inch. Drop them straight down in that grass, and hang on.
Okay.
The lower it gets in that grass, the weeds from the stalks actually thin out, and it opens up, and those bass are just waiting for stuff to come through there.
Okay.
So man, have fun, dude. I wish I was there with you.
Okay.
That's a blast.
Well, this next one came in through via Facebook. James C. Says, so the pond I fish seems to only produce fish from rubber worms. I have fished several topwater lures without a nibble. I've caught 5 bass on either a dark purple sticko worm or a watermelon culprit worm. Can you offer any advice on what else I can use to get a strike?
Man, I'll tell you this. That is actually a great question. First of all, if you're catching fish with what you're fishing with, there's really no reason to try anything else. Now, if you're looking, man, I want to try to catch something bigger. Like these could be dinks, something smaller. A lot of times it's not what you're fishing with, it's your retrieval speed. So slow it down a little bit. Let it drop a little farther in the water. Let it get a little closer to the bottom or a little bit closer to a stump or the grass that you're fishing or something of that nature. Most people think it's the bait that they're fishing with when it's 90% of the time it's the speed of what you're fishing. So change your speed up. Twitch it, drop it, let it sit for a minute. Use the counting method is what I always say. A lot of times you go, well, I fish slow. Well, did you? Count to 30. If your cast is in before 30 seconds, you're fishing really fast.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Average is about 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds to get it in, and that's a pretty quick retrieve. A frog, topwater frog, would come in bubbling across top, take you about 9 seconds. So count what you're retrieving. If you're in between 9 and 15 seconds, you're fishing pretty fast. Count to 30 while you're fishing and see where you're at. See if that makes any difference. A lot of times it will. You'll notice that slower fishing brings in bigger fish. Slow fishing brings in bigger fish. Now, here's one thing I want you to try, and you may have tried it, I don't know. Put on a hollow body frog. Right now, it's hollow body frog season. This is it. I mean, the water's warming up great. The fish are coming off the beds. It is that time. It is topwater time, and hollow body frog is definitely one of the things. You got frogs spawning. They're out there swimming around. Man, try that. The pad crasher, Booyah pad crasher, just about in any color.
That's cool.
Is definitely one to go to. So give that a shot, and definitely let us know how you do. Let us know if it makes a difference. And I'm not opposed to coming to your pond and saying, let's figure it out together.
Sure.
Let's put a pattern together and see how it works. Man, I'd love to check it out. And, your secret's safe with me, and that's an honest statement.
Yeah.
I would never give someone's spot away. The only spots I give away is if I find them. So,
sure. That's cool.
Don't hesitate.
Yeah, and I'd come too if you need somebody just to count.
You're a great counter.
I can count.
30? You can count to 30?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, watch me. Try me. Hey, he says, James also said, I also wonder if you can offer any sources of information on bass habits and patterns. Don't answer yet.
Okay.
Don't answer yet, Rodney.
Okay.
Because.
Uh-oh.
We also had another email.
Aha. Oh, okay. Yes.
And as we chose our topic for this week, this is prior. So this is strictly, I don't want to say coincidental, but very appropriate.
Right.
Timing.
And these questions came in quite a bit of time apart.
Yes. So this one's from DJ.
Yeah.
I don't never know if I'm supposed to say names or not, so we'll just stick with DJ. He says, I listen to you on the Monsters in the morning. I do a lot of bass fishing. Could you talk a little about exactly what bass are doing? Bingo.
Yep, that's it.
Such as bedding, on the shoreline feeding, out deep, etc. On the next segment, this time of year bass can act a little funny, and I think it'd be a great addition to the segment. So tonight, I thought it'd be a great opportunity for you to download to us how to think like a bass. What are they doing?
Okay.
What's happening in their brains? The patterns there. What are we looking for?
Let's see what we're looking at.
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually great. And both of these questions are phenomenal. And it comes at the right time. We're coming in, you hear people all the time, we're coming into what's called a fishing season. A fishing season for a fisherman means we're going to catch more fish. But if you can't figure out what the fish pattern is, then it really doesn't help you. You're not going to catch those fish that you're hoping for. So being out there as much as I have for the last 3 months and the last 35 years, here's what I've learned, and here's the season we're in. Right now, we went through an early spawn season. Spawning happened pretty early because the water got cold quick, and they spawned quick. I mean, we're talking January, and they're literally just very few bass on beds right now, sporadic in a few ponds. Remember, each pond has its own pattern. Each pond is something different. If you fish with a gray worm in this pond, it's probably not going to work in the next pond. Temperature makes all the difference in the world. So, right now, what we have bass coming off the beds. And these bass that are coming off the beds are hungry bass. They are just in feed mode. And this is that time of the year. There's a couple times when you're going to catch a lot of fish on the right bait. Now, I know the $10,000 question is, what is the right bait? The right bait is exactly what they tell you they want. If you're fishing with a bait and it's not producing, now this is how I do it. It works for me. I caught 370 bass in 3 months. So, I mean, I think I kind of got a little bit of credibility on if it's working or not. And it's not being cocky. It's just something I'm learning that I want to tell everybody. So, if I make 4 or 5 casts and I don't have a hit, I go, okay, I'll start changing my retrieval speed. I'll start slowing it down. I'll work myself from the bank a little bit deeper. I'll drop it lower, and I'll fish a little slower. And in 90% of the cases, it'll make a difference. Now, it may only pick up one fish. And if I only pick up one fish in about 30 or 40 casts, I go, okay, this is not what they're looking for. And then I'll switch it up. So there's a couple baits that I want you to go in the water with right now, because I'm sorry if I start rambling. You want to go in with a swim bait right now, some type of swim bait. Go for the Storm swim baits. Go for the Bitters baits. If you're in Orlando, get up to Bitters. Get some of those Bitters sexy the naked swimmers, and get some good wide gap hooks and start fishing with these, because the bass are starting to move out. They're starting to feed because they're off the beds, and these baby bass are starting to hatch. Remember that the ones that hatched in January are now about yay big. So you're matching the hatch. Springtime is called match the hatch. So all these little bass that you see swimming around are getting eat up by the big bass. In our minds, we think if we cast into this open water, there's got to be fish that see this bait. But remember, if your bait is up here and the bass is down here, they're most likely not going to close that gap. Here's the only time that they'll close that gap. If you're fishing the bank way over here and you got this thing in the bank, the bass will see that opportunity and realize that fish has nowhere to go. Out here in the open, the bass will not exert its energy because the fish has so many places to go. It can get away very easily. But when it's on that bank, that bass knows he can charge like Shamu. You've seen those whales hitting those seals on the bank? Well, that's why they do it, because they don't have a lot of places to go. Bass do the same thing. When that minnow is up there and that bait is just, and I'm talking, you're literally fishing 1.5 inches of water, it may not make logical sense to you, but let me tell you what, it works like a charm. When you're pulling that thing across, they'll rush in from 30 feet away and then crash it right at the bank. If you're fishing a hollow body frog, if you're fishing a swim bait, if you're fishing a grub or even a rubber worm, something of that nature. If you're fishing a stick bait, not so much, because you got the hooks on the bottom. So something a little bit weedless. So right now, just to reiterate, we got the fish are in a feeding pattern. They're in that grass. They're ambush predators. If you walk on the plains of Africa and you see one bush and you see all these gazelle 100 yards from that bush, there's a reason. Because there's probably a lion or a cheetah in that bush just waiting for something to get close. They're apex predators. These things are no joke. So you have to think, what would be easier for us? I mean, if you're going to rob me, would you rather have me out in a crowd, or would you rather have me in a dark alley? Well, that bank, that 2 inches of water, is a bass dark alley. That's, and it's almost irresistible for them. It's almost too easy. They're like, okay, I got this. Hey, Charlie, I'll be right back. Whoosh, plow, and they'll hit it right off the bank. And I know, because I caught a 7-pounder in 2 inches of water with his back sticking out of the water, off a spinnerbait. So, I mean, and it's happened many, many, many times, especially in the last 3 months. I would start out deep, and I'd work my way to the bank. And once I start hitting them off the bank, I just walked down the bank and literally fished 6 inches off the bank. And there's 5, 6, 7-pound bass just waiting in these little deep spots here and there, and they're killing it. And I lost a ton of fish that way. So our pattern right now is match the hatch. These bass are feeding. They're in that feed pattern. They're getting back to their school. They're getting back to this. Let's school up. Let's start feeding. You're going to hit schooling bass. So you may catch 4 or 5 bass casting in the same spot. Don't be afraid to put it out there. And you'll see your bait come in and 3 other bass trying to get it off of there, So it's feeding time. Keep that in mind. Now, this is only going to last about 2 weeks. We got this Florida weather coming in. It's going to be 90 degrees. It's going to be a little bit cool this weekend. We got some lower temperatures coming in, and that's going to extend that, that time a little bit because remember, we're going to be back in the 90s next week. So it's not like the temperature of the water is going to cool down. We're in a drought. The water table is dropping lower, so the temperature is going to be changing faster. Our volume of water has went way down, and it kind of puts a little bit of stress on the fish. So when it stresses a fish out, they're a lot less likely to feed. So key is slow your bait down. If you don't do anything else, fish with the same bait, just slow it down. And what you're going to see yourself catching bigger fish just by slowing your bait down. If I had to give you one lure and said one thing to do, that'd be slow your bait down. And that's going to make all the difference in the world. So, James, if you're catching fish off those baits, but if they're all kind of small fish, slow them down just a little bit. And definitely, whatever you do, go buy that Booyah hollow body frog. You can fish it year round, and sometimes you just plop it and go plop, plop, and just let it sit. Count to 20 if you have to. And on that next plop, if they don't hit it in that 20 seconds, man, it'll be absolutely all she wrote.
Now, if a hollow-bodied frog is a topwater,
yes,
is there a certain time of the day where that is favored?
Yes. There is. It's morning and evening. Okay. Is when that bait's favored. Now, a lot of times that bait can be favored if it's just a lot of grass. We pull up to a lake and we see all this green slime on top of it, or it's hydrilla, and we're like, oh man, how am I supposed to finish that? Yeah. Put your hollow body frog on. Twitch. Count to 5 in between each twitch. Twitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Twitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what's happening is that's twitching. This bass is honing in. He knows something up there, and he's working his way to a clear spot. So if you're fishing hydrilla or those nasty spots, find you a clear spot, cast past it, and work your way to that clear spot. Because there's 99% of the time that bass is going to shoot right to that clear spot and wait. And as soon as you come off that hydrilla or that green stuff right into that clear spot, man, that's when it all happens. I mean, that is absolutely when a good plan comes together. And then hang on. And sometimes they just explode right through that grass. You miss a lot. That's really do. But the strikes are just absolutely amazing. And to me, it's better a chance than no chance. If you at least get the strikes and you're missing them, you're doing something right. And if you keep it up, the odds are in your favor. Mm-hmm. You're going to start catching those fish. That's the key. And this doesn't matter. I mean, it's like I told somebody the other day, they were like, man, where are you catching all those fish? I want to know. I want to know where you're catching them. It's not where. It's how. All these lakes in Florida have fish. Every single one of them. If that fish has been there more than 5, there was a pond over there that was there 3 years, I would have never thought it had fish. And Hector and I was waiting on Academy Sports to open. He makes a few casts, and next thing you know, we're 30 fish into our day. And we just started. And a pond that's been there 3 years, the biggest fish I caught was 3.5 pounds. So they're there. Just got to fish them. Just got to, let them tell you what they want. So don't be afraid, if it's in your neighborhood, if it's in your buddy's neighborhood, just if it's a little bitty pond, heck, if you throw a rock across it, don't be afraid to fish it. I've caught some of my biggest fish out of this.
I've heard you say that more than once has let them tell you what they want. And it catches you off guard at first,
right?
But as you explain it,
it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
You throw out a question, but you wait for the response.
Right.
It's yes or no, and you figure out the pattern.
Yep. And like the other day, Nick and I were fishing, and he was casting his, he was just frustrated. He was reeling in. He's frustrated and reeling in, and and all of a sudden, what he was doing, he was just fishing it real slow in that manner that we were talking about. He was just fishing real slow because there was a lot of grass. So he's fishing slow. So he gets to the last 30 feet, and he was just going to reel it in real quick and throw it back out. Well, he starts reeling it in real quick. Well, this 5-pound bass is just literally running at it, And literally, as he pulls it out of the water, the bass almost lands himself with his forward momentum, almost jumps out onto the bank. Jumps, freaks out, gets back in the water, and swims off. This was a 5-pound bass. Wow. So that tells you speed the bait up. Speed it up. Don't give them time to think about it. Speed it up. So once we started that fast retrieve, the world changed. We started putting fish in the boat. That's the key. The fish are telling you.
You have to listen.
What they want. You just have to listen. So a lot of times you catch a fish and you go, oh, man, you released a fish. You didn't log in what you did. You don't remember. You just know you caught it. And then you get excited and you start reeling faster, and you may have been fishing slow. You don't remember. So the key is remember what you were doing. You're looking for the pattern. A lot of times it doesn't matter what the bait is. If it's a slow bite they want, you can fish just about anything slow.
Sure.
And they'll hit it. They'll hit it slow. So, and if it's fast, man, it could be just about anything fast. Prime example is when you and I went that year. You were fishing with a spinnerbait. I was fishing with a grub.
I remember this well.
And I was catching fish with a grub, and you were like, oh, you got the bait of the day. So I gave you the grub, and I started fishing the spinnerbait. And then I started catching them on the spinnerbait. It wasn't the bait. It was the speed of which I was fishing, the retrieval speed. It was that slow, let it fall, that's all it was.
Yep.
2 total different baits. Had nothing to do with each other. Didn't look remotely the same.
That is crazy.
It was the retrieval speed. Had nothing to do with the bait. And that's why I always say, let the fish tell you what they want. And they will. They always do.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. And don't be afraid to shoot me an email saying, look, here's what I'm doing. Shoot me a video, man. Shoot me, this is what I'm doing. I'm getting nothing. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Man, I'll shoot you a video back, and I'll jump in a pond by me, and I'll say, well, try this. I'll throw them the same thing.
Sure.
Or I'll tell you what, here's a challenge for everybody watching. If you have a bait that you're like, this just absolutely does not catch fish.
I like where this is going.
Send me a picture.
Yeah.
Send me a picture of the bait,
Sure.
what it is, where you got it, or heck, send me the bait. I will go catch fish with it. And I will tell you what I did to fish with it. Just say, hey, I'm fishing with a cripple shad. I still got that cripple shad in me. So I'm fishing with a cripple shad. So I can't get a fish to bite this thing. What do I need to do? Send it to me. I'll find a pattern. It's not me saying I'm cocky. I'll catch a fish with anything. It's let me help you. If you have a favorite bait and you can't seem to be nailing them on, let me help you. Let's figure it out together. We'll do it we'll kind of teamwork it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how you would want to do it. And that little picture remind me, I can teach you a note to a guitar.
Yeah.
And you can play that note. You play that note long enough, it'll turn into a tune. Fishing is absolutely no different. I can teach you a cast, but you've got to fine-tune that cast. And before you know it, you're catching fish like, oh, my God. Poof, you're suddenly a musician, a fishing musician. Oh.
That's beautiful, Rodney.
Mike.
You brought a tear.
Mike.
I teared up.
There's our T-shirt, fishing musician.
Fishing musician. That's great.
So, and that's it. I mean, and believe it or not, a lot of stuff's coming to light in this last 3 months on this 365 challenge. I learned a lot. Man, I really did learn a lot. I learned a lot about the reel. I learned a lot about the pole. I mean, I can fish a reel and catch 40, 50 fish in a year, and that reel can go on for 25 years. But you catch 400 fish in 3 months, you have put some work on that reel. That reel, you've made 100,000 casts. You know what I mean? You figure you probably made 300 casts per fish to get that one fish.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Exactly.
Practice, practice, practice.
Exactly.
Be a fishing musician, you.
Fishing musician. So, that's
cool.
that's kind of the key. That's kind of the key. So, we're taking a gentleman out this Sunday. He's like, man, I got your grubs. I got this. I got that. I can't seem to put fish in the boat. I've caught 5 fish, and they've all been off your grub. What am I doing wrong? I said, I'll tell you what. His wife says, what's it going to cost? I want to hire you for the day, for anniversary. And so, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just spend the day together, and let's get out there, and let's find out what's going on. So I'm going to take him to a pond that I, too, have never fished. Well, I made 2 casts in this pond, pulled out a 4-pound bass. So I know the fish are there. you know, it has all the right things that we want in a fish. And I want to take him to the closest lake environment. And guess where I'm taking him? Right to the property.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that's great.
you know, we're going to put the John boat in, and we're just going to fish around, and we're going to see how we do. Him and I will be fishing this for the first time together. And, you know, we'll see how it turns out. I mean, I just think it's a perfect place. You know, it's controlled. We're no chance of getting run off or someone saying, "Hey, what are you doing fishing? You know, we'll go there. We're relaxed, and we can learn. You know, we can teach.
Love it.
So, and we have on the 14th, we've got, you know, we're going to be taking some people out to teach them how to offshore troll on their boat. Email Rodney. You know, I just got this huge, beautiful 25-foot. You know, twin engine, bad rat, mamma jammy. I got all the downriggers, outriggers. I got all the DARs, the radars, the sonars, and more DARs and NARs I could use. You know, I don't know how to use none of this. I'm like, I am your boo. I am your dog. So we're going to be fishing, you know, offshore and showing him how to rig. I'm going to hook him up some rigs that he can have and he can troll with. Basically give him, you know, a starter kit, so to speak.
Cool.
So here's the knots, here's the lead, here's what you need on a daily basis when you're offshore trolling. These are the things you don't want to be without. So voila. What do you think about it? That's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
So we're starting to get a lot of feedback.
Wait to see the results of this weekend.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So hopefully this weekend, Saturday, we're going offshore. And then Sunday we'll be doing some bass fishing. And we'll see how the weekend turned out. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend. And then the following weekend, we'll be offshore that Friday, the 14th. I'm taking that Friday off, so we'll be ski-daddling then. And, whew, man, can't get enough of this out. We had to start an outdoor show, Mike. I didn't even look to see if we had any text. I don't think we did. No, we're good. We're good on text. So I know this. We're about out of show. I think we are out of show. 26 seconds, and we're done.
It happens on a weekly basis.
Woo! You got anything, Mike? I mean, you all out of information. You know what? You and I talk about it. Let's do a live event. Let's do one coming up. I'll get with Trace this week. We'll see if we can do one up there. Maybe you want to do a live show, or you just want to do a hangout? What do you want to do?
Either way, but let's book the time, and we'll figure out how we're going to attack it. But we'll attack it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do
for
it.
sure. The more, the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Yeah, and then we'll shoot it up.
Okay.
Sound good?
Love it.
All right, my man.
Rodney, always good. Good job tonight.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
thank you.
good stuff.
Phenomenal, man. You have got this show working like a well-oiled machine until they update the apps.
We'll keep cranking it out. We'll keep doing it.
Maybe when they do updates, we'll have a practice show and we'll figure out those bugs.
Need to.
That might be
an anything goes type of show.
Might be, yeah, exactly. So, thank you so much for listening. I tell you what, we can't do this without you guys. Right. We love that you watch us. We love all the comments and the questions, and this has turned into something for us that just absolutely warms our heart. And we've become a team, so to speak. Thank you for every Tuesday. And as my mama said 18 million times, and I pray I get to say it half as much, I love you, Mom. Now you kids get outside and stay.